I have some disturbing, depressing news to break to you. No matter what you do, no matter how hard you try, you cannot stop people from leaving your membership site. It's a sad fact, but cancellations are just par for the course within the membership game. However, there is one tool that you have in your arsenal that could potentially change the way things go. We're going to talk about what that is in today's episode of the Membership Guys podcast.
You're listening to the Membership Guys podcast, bringing you proven, practical tips and advice from the leading experts on growing a successful membership business each and every week. And now, here's your host, Mike Morrison.
All right. Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Welcome to episode 290 of the Membership Guys podcast. 290. Wow, we are fast approaching that 300 mark. That seems crazy, but I'm so appreciative for each and every one of you who has stuck with us through all 290. What are you still doing listening? 290, that's way more of my voice that I could listen to, but hey, I don't know, different strokes. If you are a long-time listener, thank you so much for your continued support. You know I love you guys. If you've got a moment, however, I have a little ask for you. If you can take just a minute or two of your day to give us a little bit of feedback on the show, whether it's helped you, whether you enjoy it, then I would so appreciate it if you could leave us a little review in your podcast app, whether it's iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, whatever it is you use to listen to the show. You can leave us a nice, shiny 5-star review. 5 stars, please, with a few comments about the show, then we would so appreciate it. Not only does it let us know that we're doing a good job, we're doing right by you, but also it does help us to reach more people and to help them embrace the membership model as a vehicle to freedom, flexibility, and fulfillment, which is what we are all about and what we love about this business. I would be very appreciative. If you do leave us a review, be sure to tweet me, hit me on Instagram, get in touch with me on social to let me know you've done it so I can thank you personally. If you are a brand new member, then make sure that you hit that subscribe button in your podcast app to ensure you do not miss a single episode. Now, today, we're talking all about cancellations. Boo! I know, cancellations suck, but they are just par for the course when it comes to memberships. They're just part of the membership life cycle. Every membership ultimately, at some point, will end in cancellation. Now, of course, your job as a membership owner is to deliver the sort of member experience that blows people away, that delivers them results, that delights them, that keeps them engaged for months and years to come, so that the point when they cancel might actually never come. They might be with you for as long as you decide to run the membership, but even if not, hopefully it'll be as far in the future as possible, and you'll have given them such a great experience that even if they do leave, they'll have recommended a whole bunch of people join anyway. That's your job as a membership owner, to deliver on that member experience. But no matter how great that experience is, the cancellations will happen. People will leave your membership site. So today I want to talk about the one main thing every membership site owner should have in place to make the best out of that situation. And that is a membership exit survey. So when someone goes to cancel your membership, there should be a short survey that they complete before their cancellation is actioned, before it's submitted. Now, I emphasize that it should be a short survey because there's nothing more frustrating than if you go to cancel a service, cancel a product like a membership or any sort of subscription, and then feeling like an obstacle is being put in your way. Like you're being given too many hoops to jump through, like the cancellation process is being made so convoluted and so complicated that you kind of suspect that maybe they're making this difficult so that I give up and I just decide to stick around. Your membership retention strategy needs to be more sophisticated than simply hiding the cancellation button behind a 5-part 200-question exit survey. So it does need to be a short survey, something that's not intrusive, something that people will happily fill in on their way out of the door. And essentially, there are just really 3 questions you need to ask. Why are you leaving? Why did you join? And is there anything we could do to convince you to stay? 3 very simple questions, but the information, the feedback that these questions can yield can be an absolute gold mine for suggestions and improvements to both your membership product as a whole, and also give you an opportunity to perhaps turn things around, to salvage the situation, and to convince someone to change their mind rather than cancelling, rather than leaving your membership site. So the worst case scenario from using the exit survey is you gather some data, you gather some information from your outgoing members that help you to make changes in your membership that make it more likely that the members you still have, even if you lose this person, the members you still have are more likely to stick around. So if someone's going out the door and they tell you the main reason they're leaving is because your sales page promised that there'd be a new training video every single week, and you changed that policy 6 months ago and it's now every 2 weeks, but your sales page still says that and they feel like they've been ripped off. Now, it might be hard to turn that around. However, that's a really simple, really small tweak to change, to implement in order to make sure that you are meeting the expectations you're setting in your marketing. And that's a real specific example, but it's a one that demonstrates how even the smallest minutiae that these kind of surveys can pick up can actually be useful and can actually affect the way in which you run, the way in which you market your membership, and the type of members you attract, what they expect, and all that sort of stuff. So you'll never go wrong seeking feedback from your members, talking to your customers, talking to people who maybe haven't joined yet, but especially people who have joined and then they've left. You can find out why they are leaving. So what's missing? Was there something they expected that isn't being delivered? Have they achieved what they joined to achieve? And actually, as far as they're concerned, okay, job's done. I'm perfectly happy with this membership. I'm happy with what I've had, and I feel I've had my money's worth. However, I've reached a point in my journey where I feel the membership has reached the limit of how much it can help me. And maybe that's justified. Maybe they literally have reached that point. But perhaps if someone tells you something like that, what it might indicate is that they didn't realize you had other stuff, other parts of your membership that could help them on the next stage of their journey. And so that feedback is going to help you to rethink maybe the navigation, maybe the way in which you communicate with your members. So knowing why people are leaving is very important, as is knowing why people joined. Not only will knowing why people joined, again, help you to zero in on which parts of your marketing, which parts of your messaging are getting through to people, and also validate whether your understanding of what people want and what they need is on point and it's in line with the reality that people are telling you. But also, it can help you identify any patterns. If people who consistently joined because they want to access to one specific course in your membership, and you find everyone who tells you that leaves a lot faster than other people who join for other reasons, then again, that data, that information is so useful. So finding out why people left, why they joined, seeing if there's ways of connecting the dots between those, using that information to not only change how you market your membership, but also what you offer, how you run your membership, maybe change your processes, address any bugs, any problems, any frustrations, so that the members who are still with you get a better experience and are less likely to leave. But then that third question, is there anything we can do to convince you to stay? Again, you might get some specific suggestions and ideas of things that you haven't thought about. It might also open up the opportunity for dialogue with these people, because simply by asking that question, you're putting forth a suggestion that you are willing to maybe discuss this, right? You're maybe willing to make a change that would make your membership somewhere where they'd want to stick around. And so actually, if someone provides you that information, then you will find from time to time that does open the door for you to follow up, for you to kind of say, okay, actually, you said the thing that would get you to stay would be if the live Q&A calls were at a time of day that is suited to the time zone, the country that you're in. You might not have thought about that. You might not have realized perhaps there's a portion of your membership that you're not catering to with your live sessions. So maybe you can go back to that person and say, you know what, this is great. That's actually such a good point. We've not thought of that. How about the next one we do? We'll do in that time zone and we'll commit to alternating. Would that get you to stick around? So again, just by putting this question out there, you potentially open up the opportunity for dialogue and for that dialogue to result in someone sticking around. Not always going to happen, but even when it doesn't happen, the information that you get from this question, from the answers to it, again, that's going to be really useful for helping you to refine your strategy. Now, a membership exit survey is not only extremely useful for that data gathering, that's going to help you to just continuously refine and evolve what you're offering, and an opportunity to learn from the members that you are losing. But the other big thing that the membership exit survey enables you to do is to essentially make a final plea. So if you're using a tool such as Gravity Forms, probably my favorite tool for doing this kind of thing, because you can send people to different pages or show different messages on your website according to the choices someone selects in the form. So if someone says they're leaving because they don't have time, you can actually show them a message that gives them some tips on how to get the most out of the membership if you don't have much time in your day. Maybe it's a planning guide. Maybe it's a little tutorial on time management or something like that. If they choose, I'm leaving because I can't afford this membership anymore, then maybe you can conditionally show them a message that says, okay, we understand, money can be tight. How about we give you the option to pause for 3 months instead of canceling? So the ability to show people a conditional response based on what they select in your exit survey is so powerful. And that's why we love tools like Gravity Forms, which is a WordPress tool. So if you're not using WordPress, it's going to be a little tougher, but you can probably find your way around it as well. If you didn't have something like WordPress, instead of a survey, what you could do is just have a series of pages, and your first page, maybe you have 5 or 6 reasons written out with links, and you say, click the link, which relates to the reason why you're leaving. And obviously they're linked to different pages. You can stick this together with duct tape and blue tack and chewing gum and all that. But, if you are using WordPress, investing in Gravity Forms will enable you to do this a bit better. So if you can show people that conditional messaging that is specific to the reasons they're leaving and so on, that enables you to make that final plea in a much more relevant, much more specific way. You could just have a general one where you obviously highlight, hey, we're really sorry to see you go. Here are some alternative options, maybe. If you want to come back, you can. We're always open, rah, rah, rah. And it can be just generic and general. But if you can show conditional final pleas, essentially, based on the reasons people select for why they are leaving, then they're far more likely to be effective. So once people have filled in that survey and they've selected reasons they're leaving, why they're joining and stuff, you could offer the ability for them to book a quick 15-minute call with you or one of your team. You could offer them the ability to directly message you via Facebook Messenger or something like that to detail any problems that they have. Now, you might not want to show these options to everyone. If someone says they're leaving because they can't afford it, then it might probably be better to give them the ability to pause rather than ask them to book in a call with you to talk things through further, because it's pretty cut and dry. Whereas if someone says they're leaving because they don't feel your membership lives up to their expectations, then the priority is probably to get them on a 15-minute call, right? Could you give me the opportunity to chat with you and to just get a bit more info on what you were expecting and what we could have done to bring it up to standards and how we might move forward? Like, those are the kind of things that you can be bringing into play as part of this final plea, and the effectiveness of them are going to be more specific if you can make them conditional to the reason people have given you for why they are cancelling. And as we mentioned, you can give people an alternative to leaving. So if it's time, if it's money, you could offer them the ability to pause. If it's money, or if it's just I'm not using everything I'm paying for, you could give them the option to downgrade to a lower membership tier where maybe it's cheaper and they just get the community. Because, if someone is paying $50 and they think, well, all I use is the community, and if for some reason they don't think it's worth the full payment because they're not using all the other stuff, then they might be attracted to the idea of downgrading to a community-only option. If someone tells you that they feel like they've gone as far as they can with your membership and they need more, again, you give them that alternative to cancelling. Instead of cancelling, why not upgrade to the next level that gives you more? So again, this exit survey essentially just gives you that kind of final opportunity to salvage the situation, to take someone who might think that the only option or the only logical option they have for their situation, for how they're using their site, for what they need, the only option is to leave. If you can present them with viable alternatives, pausing, upgrading, downgrading, getting on a call with you to talk things out, providing specific details, recommending content to them that addresses the reasons why they're saying they want to leave, that perhaps they weren't aware of. All of that can be done with that simple membership exit survey. And that is why it's such a critical tool in the arsenal of every single membership site owner. This is a bare minimum of what you should have in place. Now, you might be limited on what you can do depending on your membership tech, but again, I would argue that it's worth potentially investing in custom development if that is what is needed to put this membership exit survey in place. And remember, you want to keep it simple. It doesn't want to be obstructive. You don't want to make people jump through a million different hoops. However, a 3-question survey and then a 1-page final plea isn't throwing lots of obstacles in the way. If someone wants to skip past and ignore it, they can do so with ease. But for the people who maybe aren't so determined to leave your membership, but they just feel that it's the thing they need to do right now for whatever reason, this can turn things around. This can let them know there's an alternative. This can help them realize things that they haven't tapped into in the membership that could actually really, really help them out. So you're doing them a service by highlighting this to them. So if you don't have a membership exit survey in place, hopefully I've made my case for why it's such an important component of your member retention strategy. And hopefully some of the specific tips that I've given will help give you some direction on what your exit survey should consist of and how you might then use the information you get to both potentially turn the situation around, and that's your best case scenario, or worst case scenario, to at least have the information that will help you to improve things to make it less likely that people will leave for the same reasons. So get that membership exit survey in place. And another key thing to remember is that quite often people who leave your membership, they come back. So that's why we don't want to make this exit survey a major obstacle. We want to make sure that it isn't massively slowing down or obstructing the cancellation process, because actually if people are leaving for positive reasons, so they just need to take a break, or maybe they've gotten so far through your membership content, they've achieved a certain amount, now they just kind of want to have a bit of breathing room to wait for things to develop before they come back to you for the next step. All these kind of things are conducive and make it likely that someone will come back in the future. So we don't want to sour their experience by making the leaving process difficult. People will come back. In fact, at Membership Academy, we have over 25% of members who leave us ultimately return within 6 to 12 months. So that's also where this data collection, this information that you're getting about why people are leaving and all that sort of stuff, that's another area that can be really useful, because if you know why someone left, then you can utilize that to better tailor the follow-up campaigns, the emails, the messages you might send to your ex-members 6 months or so after they have left to try to entice them to come back. You know, if someone told you that they left because they had no time, and then you follow up with them 6 months later, you probably don't want to emphasize the fact that you added 50 new courses, because that's not really in lockstep with the reasons why they left. But you might want to emphasize the fantastic new tool that you've got that helps people carve out a more direct path through your content, because that addresses the fact someone left because they didn't have time. Because you're saying, actually, if you come back, we've got something that will help you to save time and to get to where you want to go quicker. So that's another string to the bow, another thing to consider for just how valuable a membership exit survey can be. All right, hopefully you've enjoyed this episode. Hopefully you have found it useful. Hopefully it's inspired you to take steps to ensure that you have this sort of exit survey and that you're using it well. If you can enhance that exit survey by having those conditional final pleas, that last page before someone can click through to confirm that they cancel and all of that, in which you offer an alternative, you offer them the opportunity to talk things out, you present them with some other content suggestions that might actually address their situation. If you can do that and take it beyond simply being a basic survey that collects info, then you will find that your member retention improves. That's it for this week. Hopefully you enjoyed this week's episode. I'll be back again next week with another installment of the Membership Guys podcast.